I'm starting to lose track, but I think this is my 10th or 11th sit. Not sure. But the bucks are moving last night like crazy. The neighbor, there's a new one that came in, a big 9-point. They call him DB9. And then Newbie was here again 3 nights in a row. He's been here. I honestly think he goes back home during the day, but he could be in here with a hot doe too. So he went through actually right behind the house here on the line about probably 500 yards. We got a couple videos of him, pretty cool. Junior he's a 6-year-old. Newbie's a 5 or 6-year-old. DB9's a 5 or 6-year-old. Saw a lot of activity right before dark last night, but Junior was probably on 15 cameras last night. He was all over the place. They're really looking. We saw Junior tied up with a doe, at least one doe. If it was one doe, it was 4 days, or 2 does for 2 days. I don't really know, but he was with does. Now he's looking for another one, and they're really going to be starting to cruise here. Yesterday wasn't an all-day cruising day. Dylan, would you agree? Have you seen?
Yeah, for sure.
But we're like a day or 2 day or today an hour. I mean, it's one of those where, so we're gonna sit at probably, arguably the most invasive stand on our property that I just hung. It's a saddle. We couldn't bring a stand in there. Couldn't make the noise. Didn't even know what tree we were gonna hang in. And so I'm gonna saddle hunt, and it's maybe 100 yards into the woods, but it's on this cruising funnel at the top of a ditch. And if they're cruising, we'll see multiple bucks today. If not, we'll sit there and enjoy the view because it's really pretty. So we're going to try to get in there early and not make much noise and get going. And Jen, you are not going this morning, right?
No, I'm just going to watch you ride up into the sunset. Or sunrise.
But you're going tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, I sit tonight. So she'll sit for Junior tonight since I messed her up about 4 sits ago.
It's okay.
And counting. It's okay. It's never okay unless you get him. And so what happens, Dylan, if Junior goes by me this morning? I feel like Jen's got her mark on that block.
No way. Yeah, smoke if that's silly. You weirdo.
If I gotta film that deer close by and he doesn't take an arrow, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
Okay.
There'd be a lot of upset
I left
people.
at 3:30 to get here.
There's a lot of peer pressure here right now.
That buck is dead.
Probably would have to happen. Well, we made it in. Dylan, it wasn't a bad entrance.
I think we did pretty good. I'd give us like an A-.
Yeah, I was thinking B+, but even a B. Our downwind, I said this is one of the most invasive spots on our property. What I mean by that is we're about 100 yards off the field edge, but we come in through a small hunting plot, the edge of it to get in, so that gets us back about 50 yards there. Then we're another 50 yards in the woods. Downwind of us is a redneck blind about 60 yards away, and we have a tunnel in to get into that with a bunch of brush. So unless they go through this narrow gap of about 20-30 yards behind us, they won't get into our wind. We're right here. It's only like a 25-yard shot to the top of the ditch. This is all the erosion from the fields. They would erode down through here, and it would really start to eat away to the ground right in front of us. That's years ago. Now all this is brush. We're on where they used to farm, which is pretty crazy. And then they cattle and they pasture. They have fencing that we find in here. So bottom line, it doesn't erode as much as it used to, but those deer cross at the top of that ditch, or they cross way down below, long ways down. And then on top of that, behind me and to my left, the ridge really bumps out on a flat where we first graded bedding here. Dylan, I think that was 2001. Our first chainsaw bedding right behind me.
2020, 2021.
Yeah, 2021. It's so along our first area. But anyways, we got a lot going on right here. There's at least 5 or 6 trails that converge right down in front of us. When I shot Bo, he died through here. Joey's buck, my son-in-law. When he died, he came through here. He died like 40 yards away in those cuttings that I made, years ago. So we're just right in the middle of it all. And great cruising spot. We'll just see if they're cruising. I'm hearing the farmer on the other side of the hollow in the ag land. Now we're talking 400 or 500 yards away. But he's over there picking up bales. And they're spearing bales, putting them on a trailer, making a bunch of noise. And I like that because it doesn't spook the deer off the land, but it keeps them from coming out in daylight over on that side. So it gives them a little bit more of a tendency to be on this side, which is where we want them to be. So we're hoping for some cruising activity. We don't expect anything. It seems like they're cruising around here. Dylan and I were just talking. It seems like they cruise more 8:30, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And so we're probably in for 11 o'clock at least to noon, sit right around there. We got to shoot a couple videos, and then Dylan's going on tonight.
Yeah, buddy.
But this is just a beautiful morning. We've had some great evening sits, morning sits, just really beautiful. And I'm not saying I don't want to see deer, but to get at this point, first time in the saddle for me to hunt. I've filmed out of the saddle. You have Dylan in the stand with me. All is A-okay. It's already good morning.
Hey, we just had a discount alert, WHS 15 through Tethered. We've been able to get our feet wet using the Tethered tree saddle this year, and it's an incredible tool in the toolbox. Is it the tool you use everywhere? No, but neither is anything else in life, tree stands, whatever. It's a great tool. Try it out. Link is in the description. I hope you enjoyed some of the sights and sounds of this sit. I had a lot of fun because that was my first time hunting in a saddle. And I filmed in a saddle before this year. And this was one of those, we're not even forcing it. This is an area we want to have a stand location. We want to be in there. And my son-in-law's buck, Joey, shot an 8-point. It died only 40 yards from here. And this is where Bo ran through and died. And it's like, man, we have to get a stand in here. And we neglected to do it during the summertime. So after pulling Joey's buck out of there, that middle of the day portion gave Joey and I time to go in there and set the saddle real quick. We had no idea what tree we were putting it in. We didn't want to make a bunch of noise dragging a ladder stand back there or ladder sticks, hang on. So we wanted to go in a saddle. What's nice is you can choose any type of stand location. It'll fit in just about any tree, so that's a good thing. The purpose of this sit, though, we wanted to look for a rut cruising opportunity. Not quite, it's October 30th, not quite the opportunity for long range cruising, but we really wanted to get this set up for that mock scrape and have a camera on it so we can observe this. This is a totally new area for us. We've never had a camera in there. And so at the end of the sit, it was perfect. Jen actually brought in a step stool, handsaw, paracord, camera, tree mount for the camera, and that's all we needed. And so what, Dylan, it probably took us 15, 20 minutes?
If that, yeah.
And we kind of sat there in the stand. Well, if we bend that tree over that smooth bark hickory right there, and we can get up on that tree with a stool, we could tie it as high as we can. Dylan tied a rope on the tree that we bent over, which was probably a hickory. And then we dropped a vine down. That vine, probably after I cut it, was only 4 feet at the most. And what I like about that is, let's say that branch hanging over was about 7.5 feet. Well, then I tied that directly to that, meaning I had about 1 inch of play of paracord, so that can freely swing. When it's short like that, deer have a tendency to snap it in half pretty easy. We used a 1-inch diameter vine. I don't like going much bigger than that. It was dripping after we cut it, so you know it's fresh. It's a freshie. I scrape up the end of it to make it look natural. We made about a 3-foot pad under it, and I actually urinated in it before we left. We have a camera running on it now, and so it'll be interesting to see. But a lot of you want to put a mock scrape up during the season, and typically I would not just go into an area like that and do it. But when we're already invading in there to sit and have a stand location, and we already can see what deer around us, we're obviously not getting out when a deer's standing in front of us. We had an 8-point walk by this time, but he was long gone. So it was a perfect opportunity to just get it done. We already have rubber boots on. Jen sprayed down rubber booted before she came in, and then get out of there. And so I had a question today or yesterday on YouTube. I want to put some scrapes out, some of these mock scrapes. Is it okay to put it out during the season? I have some mature bucks. I just want to keep taps on them. Awesome time. I wouldn't necessarily go in the middle of a bedding area and do it, but definitely off to the side, certainly at your stand locations. And that's where we put these scrapes. So it makes it a great opportunity for you to, if you've already hunted that stand, put a scrape there, get out of there, put a camera on it, see what's going on. And one thing about this stand location is, in a lot of them, this is pretty thick cover, pretty tight. I could have a deer walk up behind me pretty quietly, and he'd all of a sudden be right there. I think I can grab my bow and I can get a shot past my shooting lanes right here. I can shoot right over here at an angle. but he can come behind me. I could shoot out in front. However, when you have a mock scrape right in the middle of your lanes right there, he's focusing on that mock scrape, not you. And if a buck surprises you, it has a tendency to at least slow them down for them to take a look at it. A lot of times they just leave some pre-orbital gland scent on it, and it gives you that opportunity to actually pull back, get a shot without them knowing. And if it surprises you, it gives you that time too. So awesome opportunity, perfect timing to get some scrapes in the woods. We used that opportunity this morning. So that was a part of this idea with the sit right here. And I think it worked out pretty well. And Dylan, top-notch scrape right there, right?
I think so. I'll be curious to see who's hitting it and how quick they hit it, because that's in a killer spot and it looks awesome, and that should be a spot where if I was a cruising buck, I'm pinched to that top and I'm scent checking that whole way. So I imagine it won't be long before there's a mature buck.
They can't walk by without seeing it.
Right.
It pinches down right there, several trails. I mean, that's why we're hunting there. So I always tell them, where do you put a mock scrape? Where do you expect to shoot and kill a deer? And that's right in that location. Another thing too, I really like, we do hang rope between two trees. I don't like cable. I've heard of people using that. I've also had a client that had a buck that wound up in the cable and ended up dead down in Iowa. So that's not a good idea too. I like paracord. They can break it if they have to. At the same time, it lasts for years. And another thing too is we found that by bending a knee nearby, I would say that tree was 2 inches at the base, maybe 2.5 inches in diameter. We were able to stretch it over to another solid tree, tie it to that tree, and then that vine is going up to that tree that we just bent over. That tree has a tendency to live still and keep growing, but at the same time, it seems a lot more natural to me. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, Dylan, but when I was playing around with that scrape and working it and hitting it and shaving it down so it looks used, a little bit worn with the saw, the branches that we left right up next to the tree were hitting the tree, and it just sounds natural.
Good. Yeah.
It looks more natural than hanging from a cord. And if I was hanging it from a paracord, which we do sometimes, I would rather had that be 12 feet in the air, 10 feet in the air, as opposed to 7 feet in the air. So I think we can get away with more when it's a little branch. So perfect opportunity. You guys can do that, and encourage you to enjoy those mock scrapes during the season, especially in those off to the side areas where you have stand locations, and really give you some tabs on what's going on in your property and give you a greater understanding of buck behavior for this year and beyond.